Okay, we're going to get on with painting. We're going to be continuing my Sù-jiàn here, who basically done all the green areas of it. Now we're going to be giving in all of the details. I've already started a little bit by painting some of these areas black, and then getting a little bit of the grey and the white, oh, the light grey, to give that a little bit of a pop there. The bit I want to actually try and do next is, we've got this neck lining here. Now on my Jing, they wear a little bit of red, usually red clothing and cloaks and things like that. However, this guy doesn't have any of that type of stuff. However, I still want the red in there somewhere. So I was thinking of actually trying to do this lining here in red, just to see how it looks. It probably look really bad. But if it is really bad, then we'll just go with the black and grey scale and almost do it like an armor type of thing. I'm not going to keep it green because otherwise I've got too much green going on everywhere. So that's the plan. We'll see if that actually works or not. Trying to work out the best position for this line. I'm wondering if that's a bit better. Then that can actually see me a little bit more. Hoping that still looks okay on the screen. It does look okay on the screen, I think. So yeah, we'll go with that. I'm just gonna have to watch bumping my head on the phone all the time. The one good thing about having this in front of me was I would bump the light instead of the phone, but I know I'm gonna be bumping my head on my phone that's recording all of this. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Ah, I've got to record. That reminds me. Always forget to do this when I go live streaming. You do actually record the footage here. So let's get started. I'm going to be doing this red. So I'm going to start off with this Sanctuary red. It's a nice intense red. We're just going to layer this one on first. Then we can go and do a little bit of highlighting, but also we should go into the crevices as well and cover them up. Right now we just want to do it like a coating. So I've got it pretty thick, to be honest. But I'm not looking for fine detail work here. I just want to carefully place it without ruining any of the green that I've got on the rest of the model. It's a really nice shade of red. Really like this. Very intense colour. Really happy I picked up this crimson set from Vallejo. So now whenever I do reds, I can do these kind of intense reds, or kind of these warm reds that I'm doing here, or I can do cool reds and things like that. They have, some of them have a really good intensity to them. have some fun painting with these. There we go. I just realised I've mucked up a little bit there. Let's see if we can just clear off some of that. There we go. Get in there early enough and you can clean up some messes. So I actually put a little bit of red on the green bit at the back there, but whilst it was still wet, I just used a bit of water and we just cleared it right off. So that's great. Okay, so we got that nice intense red on the top there. I'm kind of liking that. Now I'm just wondering, are there any other areas that I'd like to do this red as well? So I'm wondering about this little side paneling bit here. Just to give it, again, just to give some difference. And I'm wondering about doing some freehand somewhere with a bit of red and a bit of white maybe. So we'll have to wait and see with that one. That's not something I'm going to do until the very end when I'm pretty satisfied and I feel brave enough to do so. Okay, let's actually hit this with a little bit of the shade that we're going to be using. So I'm going to be using, I think, the crimson. Yeah, let's use the crimson. I'll use this in the recesses to just recess shade it a little bit. There we go. I'm just going to use my fine brush for this. We can even shade it into the very bottom area. And there. Just want to be careful of my other areas of the paint job. A bit sloppy. So I just pop that in there. There we go. We've recess shaded those areas. And darken the bottom. Okay. It's a very small difference, but it is there. So, it's good. Right, I'm just going to turn down the audio a little bit. Just coming from my computer. I will compensate a little bit for the stream. If there is a problem with the audio, just let me know and I'll try and refigure it. Okay, so got that. Next I'm going to use the Inferno Red. It's a little bit of a paler red than the Sanctuary Red. It's only a very subtle difference, to be honest. but we're going to just put that as the highlights on the top. Just water that down a little bit, actually. It's a bit thick. Okay, there we go. That's just a little bit of a basic approach to doing the red, but I quite like it. We've got the nice crimson for the deeper areas. The actual initial red is quite vibrant, and the Inferno Red, oh, it just pops it up again. It's nice. I like that. Yeah, the Chimera colors would be nice. I'm trying to think if they started selling them over here. There's a shop that I buy all my Vallejo paints because they just supply all the Vallejo stuff. I have a feeling they might have started selling the Chimera stuff, but it's just really expensive. So I might think about picking them up though, because I've heard they're really intense as well, really nice to paint with. So yeah, the Chimera stuff looks nice. They're they're just very vibrant colors, and you basically have the basic set, and you mix your own colors basically from that. Yeah. I quite like mixing. I do it more so these days, especially for blends and things like that. But sometimes just doing an easy, just having some colors is nice. But sometimes you have to just buy lots and lots and lots of paints just to find those colors that work for you. And then you kind of stick to those ones, and you mix with those ones, and it's usually good. Yeah, it would be good for Aristea. Yeah, those characters are vibrant. But yeah. Now, where else am I gonna put the red? I'm in a bit of a bind. I don't want to cover a lot of this nice green that I've got going. I might just keep it as that little red mane there that it's got going on, and that'll be all right. Let's add it to this model for the time being as well. You're gonna hold on to there. If you do, that'd be great, because the other guy's too big to hold on. I think I can actually paint with you like this. Oh, that's so much nicer. That other model's just too big, I found, for these painting handles. So I've now figured out, okay, those bigger models, I definitely need the Games Workshop brush, the Games Workshop painting handle. So I've got a reason to keep them. This one I haven't actually done much in the way of painting yet. I haven't done any of the recess shading has not been done on this one. So this one's very flat and it's green. Whereas the kind of the robotic model, the humanoid model, is recess shaded, and so it just pops a little bit more. But I've got to decide exactly what bits I'm going to be painting what colour. I keep it fairly simple because I quite like all of the green that I've got going on there. I just don't want it to be too much. But it's just working out which bits to paint what colour. Oh, he's starting to go a bit. Oh, it's just that position he's in. Oh, that's a good idea, using Uzurushi. Yeah, I bet, yeah, it's quite a big base for him. Yeah, I'm looking forward to actually using these guys. Oh, I was. Thank you also for the suggestion of playing some, perhaps even Infinity on TTS. I had a look at the mods and things and some tutorials on YouTube. So I'm actually really excited to actually try out and play a bit of Infinity on TTS as well as play some Aristea. So yeah, it was really cool. I was like, oh wow, I didn't think playing Infinity on TTS would be a fun experience or a very I just felt like it would be too clunky, but my god, they've done a really good job with those mods for it. It's really good, and with the 3D models as well, absolutely super. Made me think, oh, maybe I can try and actually put some of my models into that 3D programming thing, and I had a look at how to do it, and I was like, that'll be a project on another day. It's gonna take a while. But it would be nice to play with my own models within Tabletop Simulator. Right, I think there's one more line I've got to get in there. Just gotta be careful of the back part of his currently like I was looking at the Black Friday stuff for on the Corvus Belli website and going, oh, 35% off of all Aristea things, which skins would I like to buy? And I also saw that they had the starter army sets. I'm not going to get it because I've just obviously dropped money on the tag raid. I was looking at the Jing one going, well, I've only got 3 of those models and it'd be nice to have more Jing. Just told myself, stop it. Don't even think about it. I do like their what's it, the tag that they have for White Banner. These the Mongol cavalry or something like that. I can't remember what it was. It's got the big wolf's head. Just the aesthetic for Jing is absolutely super. They really like nailed a cool design to Jing. They're absolutely super. Right. Next, I've got to do the recess shading. Yeah. Yeah, it's just I do like how in Infinity there is a you can kind of see a similar design across all of the factions in terms of like their technologies coming from the same era and things like that, much like you would see in like cars across nations in our world. But there's just those subtle differences that mark out each of the factions, and that's kind of cool. It's like, you can see the technology that's kind of shared, but just the way that they've incorporated it into their designs is slightly different, and you can kind of pick them out that way. It's cool. Oh, and how are your non-metallic metal bases coming along? Because they were looking really, really super. I was very impressed actually seeing those. That's him done for that little bit. Now, this bit has a similar kind of design to that, so I'm going to do that red. I'm wondering about doing these inside of the biceps red as well, because it's kind of got a similar pattern to those. I think that's what I'm going to try and do. That's where the red is going to come in on this model here. Made the decision. Let's just go for it. Yeah, I get what you mean. A little bit different for the shapes that they were. I think it was still a really good job that you did. It was very, very. They were very, very clean shines. I think sometimes when I'm doing NMM, certainly for well, actually almost anything. Just almost sometimes randomly putting the shines, depending on the shape and of the material, but being a little bit random with the size of each of the shines helps, because like when you look at like a lot of metal reflecting light, it bounces off in all weird kind of ways and in all kind of weird volumes. And sometimes that can make it look a bit better. Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah. I really don't do enough work on my bases and things. These bases are kind of like stamps, rubber stamp. So you get your epoxy putty, just place it down, and then rubber stamp the shape of the whole thing onto the base, and that's basically how that one's done. But yeah, it's still a pretty lazy approach, to be honest. Okay, because this one was base coated it black. This is going to take a few extra coats. Now, the next trick, after I finish this model, the trick's going to be finding all these parts of the model on the kiddie form. Yeah, that should work. Some Rhinox hide is quite good. I'm not very good at actually doing the rust and things like that, but some like brown oranges, some orangey things, just kind of like dabbing it around can work. I want actually, whilst you mentioned the fact that I'm in Japan, there's like loads of those Tamiya products. They got those Tamiya weathering powders as well here, so I'm wondering if they're worth having a play around with. There's obviously the Vallejo weathering powders as well. I'm not sure which one's better, but I know Tamiya's like pretty hot for stuff like that for the World War II miniature enthusiasts. So in terms of like creating dioramas that look pretty cool, I think those could be quite nice. But yeah, I've never really played around with the pigment powders for weathering and stuff, so it'll be a new thing to learn. This one's a really tight area to be painting. Okay. Oh. Oh, nuts. I decided to actually stream tonight because I thought I was going to catch my brother and play a bit of Rocket League with him, but he said, oh, I'm going to have lunch in a bit, and then I'm taking the dog for a walk, and oh, okay, I'm going to just stream instead. I just checked back, and half an hour ago he just sent me a message saying, oh yeah, I'm on for a bit if you want to play. Ah, too late, mate. Alright, I think we're ready for the next stage in this red. Okay, good. Yeah, that's going back the old company of heroes. haven't played that in a very long time. But I usually like get on, like the way I keep in touch with my brother and catch up is like we just play a lot of 1v1s on Rocket League and then a few 2v2s ranked. It's just that it's a fun game where we can pick it, even if we are only available for a very short time, we can pick up and play it. So it kind of works out for us in that way. But we're not that great. But my brother's much better than me at Rocket League. So when I do beat him, it feels good. But usually it's just him scoring again and again against me. But it is quite a fun game. Strangely addictive and very quite tactical and tests your timing and things like that. It's actually a pretty good game. Okay. No, I haven't picked up Cyberpunk. Main reason is my computer will not be able to handle it until I can buy a new graphics card. My computer will not be able to handle Cyberpunk. Plus, if I get Cyberpunk, my channel will die. I loved The Witcher, Witcher 3 and everything, and yeah, if I get a game like that, I will never ever upload anything or paint anything either. I'm trying to be good, and part of me doing the channel is to keep me painting, even though sometimes my channel prevents me from painting because I'm editing so much. Like, I'm editing the Aristea battle report, and I've done the first round, but I know I've got so much more to go with it that if I just focus on that, I'll get no painting done. So right now, this is my kind of take a break model. I wanted to actually do more Defiance painting so that I could do a report on that one and do the first mission with everything painted. I still have to paint up all the scenery elements. I was thinking of doing a video about that as well, but I really am at a loss of painting that scenery stuff. So I've got to just get in there and just decide on how I'm going to approach it. Because then once that's painted up, I can do a battle report system on that. And I hope the approach would be similar to the Aristea ones, but because it's not like a competitive game as such, I think I can film it more easily and more quickly and upload it faster, or at least edit it faster, even with the same kind of care that I try to put into the Aristea ones. Plus also I should be receiving a new 3-axis gimbal soon, so that'll be helpful for filming like the games, making them look as good as possible. I hope that'll be cool. Yeah, I'm at a similar thing. Like I must have had my computer now for about 10 years, and I haven't done any upgrades on it. So it's still a viable computer, surprisingly, but yeah, anything new, it's not going to run. So I'd need to update the graphics card to at least a moderately, a kind of an affordable quality card. So I think what would be like is it like the Nvidia 1070 Ti or something like that, would be decent enough to be able to run some of the new games, and the rest of the hardware in my computer should hold up fine. But it's, yeah, still, I don't know. Okay. I do know that I need to. Ooh, that's gone a bit thick. I have to water you down a little bit. I'm just gonna spot this kind of chainmail link that they have, Under Armour, the servos and what have you. This bit is so detailed in the sculpt. It's an absolute pain to paint, but it looks beautiful. Yeah, actually, one of the main reasons I would like to update my graphics card is I think it would also help speed up some of my editing, because waiting for the computer to render and like preview what I'm working on, that is usually my time is taken up waiting sometimes for it to just do those things. Yeah, he's looking pretty. I do like this model. This model's absolutely stunning. He's one of my favorite Infinity sculpts. I think when I started, this model was out. It was like one of the ones that made me go, oh yeah, I'd like to get you, Jing. Or at least it came out soon after I got into Infinity. The Huck Viral Lasik Sniper. I remember, like, that is one of the models that piqued my interest in Infinity a long time ago. And then I didn't get into Infinity for a while, until I kind of just decided to go no more 40k. And when what was it, Malifaux 2nd edition just got too many models with too many extra items, too many extra cards, and too many rules. My interest in that kind of waned a little bit, just because of just the sheer amount of knowledge that you need to be able to play against people, and the sheer amount of management of cards was just slowing down the game so much. I'm sure it's probably a lot better now with the 3rd edition. I haven't tried 3rd edition though, but I just decided to migrate over to Infinity, because I found even though Infinity had a lot of rules, once you've actually internalized them, they're not too bad. What is your main faction for Infinity? Actually, I find the Malifaux minis are much easier to paint. Much easier to paint. But this is like before I started painting Infinity stuff. I did one video of a Malifaux model that I really enjoyed painting, and that was this guy. It was a good giggle to paint. I did the Goober Town Hobbies painting challenge thing where you randomize all of the colors of all of the areas, and you just try and make it work. That was really fun. Otherwise, I wouldn't have chosen any of that color scheme for that model at all, but it came out in a way I really liked. But there is, I was looking at Malifaux again, and the thing is, I've got everything in like the second edition cards and things, so just migrating over to the third edition is just a bit of an effort. And their upgrade deck to third edition is always sold out everywhere, so I'm just like, meh. If I was going to get into it again, just get a whole new crew with the new edition of models. That'd probably be the way I'd go about that. Just start with something new. Okay, I think I've done most of the little servos and things like that. There's a few other bits. It doesn't need much, just a little spotting here. There's one over there. Okay, well, this guy's making progress. Aruna. Yeah. One thing I decided when I was getting into Infinity was I'm going to do original paint schemes for all of my factions. My Hak-Islam is probably the most traditional colors for Hak-Islam, but it's still not the same as the regular Hak-Islam ones. I have purple in mine. My Shazvasti are actually quite similar to Hak-Islam in their color scheme. Then my Yu-Ching is this bright green with reds in, which I really like this color scheme. I'm really glad I picked it. The only one I've done to the traditional style is Qian Gao for Defiance, because I got two models of his. One of them is going to be one of them is the traditional Yu-Ching colors, and the extra model when I get around to it is going to be my green. I'm kind of looking forward to when I can tackle those extra models, because I'm just going to do completely different color schemes and just whatever I like with them. Let's see, I think. Now what else do I want to do with this? Alright, I could tackle the gun and get the gun out of the way so we can see what it looks like with the gun done. And then I got to think about what I would like to do in terms of any freehand, if I wanted to do any freehand. Like marking some symbols here and there, perhaps. Maybe putting in some kanji, perhaps. That is a possibility. And then I can kind of see where else I want to add details. Yeah, let's get all the big bits done first. Yeah, for Aristea, I've tried to keep it as close to the artwork, the original artwork, as possible, because That was kind of a challenge to myself with those, because it was like color schemes I'm not used to doing. I would color them that way. Also, I find with that plastic though, sometimes it's a little difficult to really get a good effect on the plastic, and my metal miniatures look just a lot better painted than the Aristea plastic. So that was kind of a bit of a bother painting them, but I am interested in getting the Aristea skins. So that might be something I do purchase in the Black Friday sale, because it's a 35% off everything. I definitely want the Thermopylae version of Maximus. That one is just awesome. Massive Spartan warrior dude. I also want to get the Moonchild's alternative skin, because she switches between those states, and so she'll go from her kind of more humanoid state to the dog face state. Then those two are kind of definite I want to get. There was another one that I really liked, possibly the Tao Wu, just because he looks really cool in that one, and he'll also, you can use him in Infinity, but he'll also act as a really good civilian character. So it kind of has multiple uses. Plus also Tao Wu's fun. I'd say he's fun to use in Aristea. He's an absolute frustration for the opponent, because he just forces everyone to lose their cards. Right, now I've got to paint your gun. Let's figure out which bits are going to be black, which bits are going to be white. I'm going to paint those. That's probably the way to go. My black is dried. I'm terrible for wanting to just continue using a colour that's on my wet palette for as long as possible. But I think I'm just going to accept it and just put some new stuff on. I do fancy Full Metal Cosmo. I really like Full Metal Alchemist as well, so it's an extra reason to want to do that. But I don't want to spend too much money. It's the main thing. I mean, it'll go from pretty much $30 euros to 20 euros, which ain't too bad. But still, I don't know. He is cool. I don't use Cosmo very much actually now, saying I should, because he's a really good model and does so much smoke, and smoke can be so good in that game. Especially if you're against a team that's just trying to shoot you, and you just smoke up the entire field. They can't do anything. Combine him with Lei Gong. Lei Gong can just kind of go anywhere if there's smoke on the field. So having those two together is really good. Tao Wu can also drop smoke as well. So you could have a whole team of just smokers just causing absolute mayhem on the field. That would be kind of cool. I do like having like thematic lists of Aristea where you do one thing really well with everyone, and it's just creates this absolute nightmare for the opponent. Although sometimes they don't work out so well because they don't do anything else other than this one thing really well. Go. Alright, so I've got to work out which areas of this gun are going to be kind of like the the gun metal, or at least the dark areas, and then which area of it is going to be my kind of almost white plasteel type of style of design that I've gone for with Jing. I'm going to go for this just to kind of try and make him look technologically advanced, doing this kind of more Mass Effect-y almost style of gun design. Oh yeah, and I quite enjoy. I've used Fiddler just for a couple of like tester games, just to see what she's like. I mean, she's pretty cool with Hannibal, because Hannibal will get a buff for every ally that has eyes on has line of sight to a target, so you can use the turrets to help him. But also the turrets can get buffed by Hannibal as well, so because they count as allies. So Hannibal is really useful for making those turrets even more powerful. Okay. So they make for a good combination, I think, anyway. I really want to. Is it Custom Meeple? I can't remember who makes it, but they make the actual physical sculpts for the turrets for Fiddler, as well as the tentacles for Gaia. I'd love to have those physical sculpts. It would be nice to have them rather than just the tokens. Yeah, I just don't have a 3D printer. That is on the list of things I would like to get. But right now I've kind of spent a bit of money on all these other things, so I'm just going to leave that for a while. Plus also I don't have space on my desk. So I'm going to hold off for now. Okay. That kind of blocks in the kind of areas I'm going to do the darker shades of the close to black non-metallic metal. Next I'm going to need to use the ivory and fill out those spaces next. Along there, bunch of done. And hopefully that little back bit there. Don't have to be too neat because we'll go over in the ivory and that should be okay. I'm going to use the ivory because it has better coverage than most of my whites. Right, get the ivory out. I'm starting to make a mess on my table here by putting out all of my paints and not putting them back. I have a very bad habit of this. There we go. Oh, I got space again. Here we go there. What was it I wanted? That one's off white. No, I want ivory. There we go. Give this one a good old shake. I'm hoping to go to a board game club maybe next week. I'm going to try and take either Aristea or Defiance along with me and hopefully get some people interested in those two games or either one of those games. Hopefully it would just be a good chance to at least introduce it to some people, some board gamey people. See if there's anyone who's into it and who lives in the same kind of area as I do and possibly play some. Would be nice. Just going into a bit of a concentration mode at the moment. Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. Like I like having a game that I want to come back and really know and get deeply involved with. That for me, I wanted it to be Infinity, but my chances to play it were so few. But I did find that some of my friends, it was easier to get Aristea get them involved into Aristea, and Aristea kind of certainly touched on all those bases of having kind of very simple, easy to learn, but hard to master kind of appeal to it, and with all the different combinations you can have with that as well, it was much cheaper to get like the full experience out of that than it is with Infinity. And in Japan as well, setting up an Infinity table is difficult. As much as I wanted that one to be my main game. Right, I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get this coat of ivory on the gun. Now, that's where I'm gonna kind of end tonight, I think. Oh my. 4-foot square table, that's like the size of a large room. It's difficult. It's luckily now I've actually moved into an apartment that's fairly decently sized. I do have the capability of setting up a table, but because of the whole pandemic, it's been very difficult to actually invite anyone over to play, let alone find the people that actually play the game as well. And so it always turns into like a let's learn how to play the game and not actually be able to play a proper game of it. And to be honest, I need to kind of relearn a lot of Infinity and make sure I understand the new rules. So I haven't played any of the new edition. Yeah. I was really, I'm really excited to play some on TTS. I just straight away I was like, oh, I want to put my minis on there and make the 3-dimensional models. Get my own set there and use them, because then I was kind of like going through the Huck sets of 3D models, and it's like, I can't find uniformity with the models that I want to run with. They're all painted by different people. They all look very nice, but I want them to look like my Huck. But it's really cool that they've done and made all of those maps as well. It's awesome. So yeah, I think I'm gonna try and have a go at a few games of Infinity on TTS, and then yeah, you kind of need a turntable and a good camera and some stuff. So yeah, I think it's possibly Blender you use. So it's free software. I've been wanting to learn a bit of Blender anyway, so it might be a good opportunity to just kind of download it and have a go. But I've got to print out basically the computer software needs you print out this disc with colors all around it, and then you put your model in the center, and then you keep a black background. You have your camera and you set up, I think, 25 shots of it, rotation like to the side, and 25 shots from a 45-degree angle from the top. Again, all the way around, and then you can then kind of basically gives the program enough data to create a 3-dimensional mesh and model, and use your photos to color it, which is pretty cool. But I make it sound like it was really, really simple, but it's I think a bit more complicated than what I just said. But I'd love to make 3-dimensional models of my stuff into TTS. That would be just cool. absolute pain to paint. Tell. Okay. Try and get some of that. I regretted as soon as I first painted these models, I regretted choosing the colour scheme I did for the guns, because it's a pain to paint them this way. But that is the colour scheme of my army, so I shall stick with it. I stick with the same colour scheme for my armies, but I don't make them completely uniform, because as my abilities change, or my interest of how I want to paint, and I experiment with how I paint, they will evolve the paint scheme of the models. But I never go back and repaint stuff. One, because I just don't have the time, and two, I kind of like to see that evolution, even if it looks a bit weird and janky on the tabletop, because I've got like models I've painted in very, very different periods of my painting. My time being a miniature painter. I have to wash the brush very carefully, because this ivory sticks into the brush bristles very stubbornly. Quick once over. It's very watery at the moment, but just helping give it an extra coat there. Without affecting the black too much. Just making the white ivory a little bit stronger. Go. Okay. Alright, that gives a bit of a sense of the colour scheme that we're going for so far with this guy. And yeah, I'm liking where he's going. I might keep him pretty much. This is the colour scheme I think I'm going to go for with him, and just stick with this, because I'm quite happy with where it is at. I might do a bit more with the feet, or some of the legs, but I also might put in some markings. I think having a challenge at a little bit of freehand might be good. Just do it in very, very light grey, that can hopefully be washed off and things, or fixed up, and then we can kind of go over that, see if it comes out better. I still got to do the eyes. The eyes are tiny on this model. It's an absolute pain. But we'll try and get them done as well next time. But yeah, this is the basic color scheme I think I'm going to go for. I'm going to stick with that. I don't want to do any more red, because I don't want it to overpower it. I like a lot of the green that's there. Yeah, then once he's done, I can remove him off and then do the base along with the little rock that he's standing on, the tactical rock. And then once I'm happy with that model, then I apply the same process to this dude here, and hopefully we'll have a couple of nice models there to finish it all off with. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna call it a night tonight for the time being. I think that's pretty good. So thanks for joining me and having a chat. It's makes this a lot happier for me. So thanks very much. Okay, and catch you next time. Bye bye.